Sadly, I must admit that the Riki 8Bit games initially developed for the NES and a few other obscure platforms have eluded me over the years. Thankfully, Clear River Games has now packaged these up for a Nintendo Switch release, which taught me not only that I miss arcade-style games, but also that adding a music player option in games can be a thoroughly enjoying inclusion in any indie release. I didn't know what I was getting myself into when I first started, but I found myself returning to the Riki 8-Bit game collection before bed each day, mastering my approach and enjoying some of the best chiptune music ever composed for any 8-bit hardware. Riki 8-Bit Game Collection comprises 2 games and 3 music players? Let's start with the games though. Kira Kira's Star Night has you play as a young girl who is tasked solely with collecting stars. Each level is timed and requires you to collect a specific number of stars to progress. Failing to hit the goal results in a game over, forcing you to restart from the beginning. Thankfully, this collection offers some handy quick save options, allowing you to set checkpoints if you're just aiming to see the game through rather than going for a perfect run. Outside of collecting stars, there isn't a huge amount of complexity here, but it's this simplicity that grants the game a pick-up-and-play charm. The difficulty ramps up gradually, introducing a second group of boards and another character to play as, mixing things up just enough to keep you engaged. One of this release's added touches is the inclusion of colorful side panels and short 8-bit scenes depicting the heroine between stages. These charming visuals help liven up what might otherwise feel like a minimalist experience. In addition, score hunting plays a major role, encouraging you to beat your previous record with each run. The challenge is heightened by the limited control scheme. You can jump straight up or at an angle, even wall jump, but you can't change your trajectory mid-jump. Although anyone can progress after a few attempts, truly mastering Kira Kira Star Night's stages becomes a satisfying endeavor, perfect for showing off to friends your new magical girl star collecting abilities. The next game is Astro Ninja Man DX. At first, I didn't really understand what this game was aiming for, but as I spent more time with it, I came to appreciate its unique take on the shmup genre. Your character is locked in the bottom of the screen, constantly firing projectiles. You can collect helpers to your sides for extra firepower, which these are lost if you take hits, but they return eventually. The real twist is that these added guns prevent you from hugging the screen's edges, forcing you to be more strategic about your positioning and dodging. This subtle shift in traditional shmup mechanics adds a layer of depth you wouldn't have expected from an 8-bit style title. Astro Ninja Man DX also boasts a special beam attack that can be used to tear through particularly tough enemies, and the challenge ramps up at a consistent, addictive pace. Although the difficulty can be pretty high here, as is standard with the shmup genre. There's something refreshing though about how it's all packaged. The game ran smoothly while playing, and the chiptune soundtrack is pure chaos in the best possible way. From the moment the opening track kicks in, I was hooked, and even now as I write this review, I find myself thinking about heading back to it for another run. Beyond the 2 main games, the collection includes 3 dedicated music players. These aren't exactly bare-bones sound tests though. They're presented with visual events and animations that unfold as you listen. There are even some secrets to uncover if you let the tunes run long enough. One crucial recommendation, turn off your Switch's auto-sleep function while listening, as you can bask in the 8-bit melodies uninterrupted. The music itself is infectious, a mesmerizing blend of retro compositions that managed to keep me energized all weekend while I worked, wrote, and relaxed. Each track can be broken down instrument by instrument, allowing you to appreciate the underlying craftsmanship that went into creating these mesmerizing soundscapes. It honestly feels like you're having your own personal chiptune DJ right in your Switch. Something that struck me as particularly impressive is how these tunes blend perfectly with the on-screen animations. The music players become their own mini-events or performances, complete with subtle visual gags and scenarios. The interplay between sound and pixel art animation makes this feature almost like an interactive music museum, celebrating an era of gaming long since past. While there's a ton of indie games that pay homage to the NES era, this collection dives pretty deep, treating the music and visuals with the same reverence as a curator would give a gallery of vintage masterpieces. For those who missed out on the title back in the NES or homebrew days, the Riki 8Bit game collection feels like a time capsule. Clear River Games has taken these once elusive gems and placed them front and center on a modern platform. The convenience of playing these games on the Switch means they're instantly accessible, perfect for short bursts of arcade action or a quick listen to some tunes between tracks. There's just something appealing about having these old school experiences, complete with time limits, quirks, and minimal instructions easily accessible without needing original cartridges or special hardware. In the context of today's indie scene, where music is often given equal priority to gameplay and visuals, the inclusion of a music player feels right at home. They actually elevate this package beyond a mere collection of retro titles, demonstrating that these developers understand the appeal of immersive audio-visual experiences. The care that's been taken to allow players to isolate instruments, discover hidden extras, and enjoy dynamic visuals while listening shows a respect for the audience's appreciation for the art form. Riki 8-Bit Game Collection delivers on everything it promises, and then a little more. The vibrant visuals of Riki's illustrations paired with the 8-bit graphics and a brilliant soundtrack makes this a must-have collection for any arcade and retro gaming enthusiast. Surprisingly, it was the music player feature that left the strongest impression on me, proving that even in this world where streaming services and high-fidelity audio reign, there's room to celebrate and enjoy the simple purity of chiptunes. Every time I boot it up, I can count on having a thoroughly engaging 30 minutes to an hour, whether I'm hopping around and collecting stars, blasting through waves of enemies, or just vibing to some tunes. Noisy Pixel is giving Riki 8-Bit Game Collection a 9 out of 10. Thanks for watching. This video is brought to you by our supporters on Patreon. Noisy Pixel is run by a group of gamers providing independent gaming coverage through news, reviews, previews, and more. Check out our Patreon to help support our continued growth, and subscribe to keep up with all our future content.
Noisy Pixel.